Hi everyone. I hope all of you are okay. As you know, last week we learned all types of conditional in the first part. Today I'll present you if conditionals part 2. In other words, we will learn mixed conditionals. But first, I want to remind you all types of conditional in some sentences. Let's make a revision of the first part. And the first sentence. If you freeze water, it turns to ice. It's a kind of scientific fact. And the second sentence, if or whenever or when I am late, my father gets angry. It's a kind of general truth. And this is the characteristic of my father. He gets angry if I am late. So we can say that we use if conditional type 0 to talk about scientific facts and general truths. And remember, we use present simple tense in the if clause part and we use present simple tense in the main clause part. Let's go on. If I have enough time this afternoon, I will go shopping. It's the kind of possible situation. So, first conditional is used to talk about real, present, or future situations. And remember, we use simple present tense with the if clause part, and we use will, can, or may, and the bare infinitive form of the verb in the main clause part. And the other sentence, if there weren't coronavirus now, we would get together, but it seems to be impossible. So we use second conditional to talk about impossible, imaginary, present or future situations. And again, remember, we use past simple in the if clause part, and we use would, could, or might, and the bare infinitive form of the verb in the main clause part. And the last one, if my dad had been there, he would have helped us. We just imagine what would have happened if the situation had been fulfilled. So we use third conditional to talk about unreal past situations. And in the if clause part, we use past perfect tense. And in the main clause part, we use would have, or might have, and the past participle form of the verbs. All four types of conditional talk about the events within their own time, present, future, and past. But what about if you want to talk about an event that happened in the past which affects the future? Or events in the present or the future can affect the past. This time we can use mixed conditionals. Mixed time, if clauses express that the tense in the main clause part is different from the tense in the if clause part. Let's see these examples. And the first one, we can use if and third conditional in the if clause part to talk about hypothetical past. And we can use second conditional in the main clause part to talk about present or future result. Or just opposite, if we use if and second conditional in the first sentence, it indicates hypothetical present. And if we use third conditional in the main clause part, it indicates past result. But be careful. We must focus on the real tense of the sentence or action, except if clauses. It is called a mixed conditional because two different times are in the same sentence and are working in relation to one another. Mixed conditionals are all unreal or impossible situations. Let's check this example to understand better. If Mary had taken that job, she would be in Tokyo right now. As you see, with the if clause part, we use if conditional type 3 to talk about hypothetical past. But in the main clause part, we use if conditional type 2 to talk about present result. Let's focus on the meaning rather than the grammar right now. Is Mary in Tokyo now? Or did she take the job? Or where is the job based? This sentence imagines how Mary's present would be different if she had in the past taken a different job. But she didn't. She didn't take the job, so she isn't in Tokyo right now. The reality is that Mary took a job in Chicago and that's where she is now. That's why we use if conditional type 3 in the if clause part to talk about the hypothetical past, and we can use if conditional type 2 in the main clause part to talk about the present result. Let's go on with another example. I spent all my money foolishly and I am broke now. So this is the action happened in the past and this is the situation at present. So we can say that if I hadn't spent all my money foolishly, I wouldn't be broke now. But I spent all my money, so that's why I am broke now. Action happened in the past and situation at present. So we can say that decisions or actions in the past affect the present. This is when the time of the if clause is different from to the time of the result. Let's check these sentences. All of them are about the past actions and these are the situations at present. For example, if I had studied harder, I would be at university. But it means that I didn't study harder, so that's why I am not at university now. Or if he had been to Cyprus, he would know that they drive on the left there. Or if she had known English, she would have that job. Or if he had won the lottery, he would be rich. But he didn't win the lottery, so he isn't rich now. And the second part, if she had had more money, she would be joining us for the trip. Or if I had gotten that job, I would be starting tomorrow. We are talking about future now. If I had been born in England, I wouldn't have to go to the consulate next week. If they hadn't broken the window, we wouldn't have to go to court. So you see, this time, all these sentences are the actions happened in the past, and these are the situations for future. Let's do some exercises. Write the following sentences with if. And the first one, he didn't study hard enough for the test and now he's sorry about the score. So this is the action happened in the past and this is the situation at present. The second one, we missed the bus because of you and now we are waiting here in the rain. Please write the following sentences with it. I'll wait for a while for you to write the following sentences with it, and then we'll check your answers together. Let's go on. The first one. He didn't study hard enough for the test, and now he's sorry about the score. So we can say that if he had studied hard for the test, he wouldn't be sorry about the score now, but he didn't study. So that's why he is sorry about the score now. And the second one, we missed the bus because of you, and now we are waiting here in the rain. So if we hadn't missed the bus because of you, we wouldn't be waiting here in the rain. As you see, we use third conditional in the if clause part to talk about hypothetical past, and we use type 2 if conditional type 2 in the main clause part to talk about present result. Let's go on with the other type. This time we use if conditional type 2 in the if clause part, and we use third conditional in the main clause part. If I spoke German, I would have applied for the position. If I lived in England, I would have gone to the London Olympics. If I was a gardener, I would have bought a garden. If I didn't work so hard, I could have gone to the concert. So these are types of mixed conditionals. You see, we can use type 2 in the if clause part, and we can use third conditional in the main clause part. Other variations are possible, but these are the most commonly used. Let's do exercises again. Write the following sentences with if. The first one, I am not in your position. This is the present situation. So I wasn't able to punish him on the last occasion. And so this is the past result. And the second one, she sets too much homework, so her students protested about it yesterday. Okay, I'll wait for a while for you again to answer these questions. Write the following sentences with it. Let's check the first sentence. If I were in your position, I would have been able to punish him on the last occasion. As you see, this time we use second conditional in the if clause part to talk about hypothetical present. And in the main clause part, we use third conditional to talk about past result. And the second one, if she didn't set too much homework, her students wouldn't have protested about it yesterday. Okay, another exercise. Write the following sentences with if again. Be careful about the situations and results also, so that you can easily decide on which type of if conditional you have to use. Let's start the first one. The restaurant where he worked closed down, so he is looking for work at the moment. So this is the action happened in the past, and this is the situation at present. That's why we use like that. If the restaurant where he worked hadn't closed down, he wouldn't be looking for work at the moment. But the restaurant where he worked closed down, and now, so he is looking for work at the moment. And the second one, we can't record the film because Martin hasn't given us our video recorder back. We could record the film if Martin had given us our video recorder back, but he hasn't given us our video recorder back, so we can't record the film. And the third one, they can't have steak for dinner because they didn't take the meat out of the freezer before they left for work. They could have steak for dinner if they had taken the meat out of the freezer before they left for work, but they couldn't. They can't have steak for dinner because they didn't take the meat. And the last one, he didn't make a decision about the house last week, and now the owners are offering it somebody else. If he had made a decision about the house last week, the owners wouldn't be offering it to somebody else now. If he had made a decision about the house last week, the owners wouldn't be offering it to somebody else now. Let's go on with another exercise. Fill in the gaps using the verbs in brackets. This time you can use all types of if conditional. Type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3, or mixed conditional. Yes, the first one. If you are late again for the training today, I won't let you play in tomorrow's match. So it's a kind of possible situation. It means that we have to use if conditional type 1. And the second one, I would spend all August in Thailand if I had the time and the money, but maybe next year. It's the kind of imagination. So we have to use if conditional type 2. And question 3, I wouldn't be angry if you hadn't eaten my sandwich. So in this sentence, you see this is the action happened in the past. You ate my sandwich. So that's why I am angry with you now. It's a kind of mixed conditional. And question 4, if just one person had remembered my birthday, I wouldn't have been sad. So it is if conditional type 3. And the last question, you will be sorry if you don't revise for your exams. Now it is if conditional type 1. And another exercise, write the true situations for the given conditional sentences. This time, the conditional sentences were given to you, and I want you to write the true situations for these given conditional sentences. And please try to use the words in parentheses. Okay, let's do it together. The first one. We wouldn't be standing now to see the band if we had arrived earlier. So the situation is we didn't arrive earlier and now we are standing to see the band. When we look at the conditional sentence, we can understand that with the if clause part, the action happened in the past was used, and in the main clause part, the situation at present is expressed. That's why the situation is like that. We didn't arrive earlier and now we are standing to see the band. And the second one, you have to use because also. If I had been reading the report very carefully, I wouldn't have missed that mistake. If I had been reading, be careful about the conditional here, and I wouldn't have missed that mistake. Be careful again. And the true situation is, I missed that mistake because I wasn't reading the report very carefully. And the third one, they could take the ferry today if they ran on public holidays. It seems to be an impossible situation here. That's why we have to use if conditional type 2. And the situation is they can't take the ferry today because they don't run on public holidays. And question 4, if he weren't so lazy, he wouldn't have been dropped from the team last weekend. So when we look at the first sentence, if clause part, type 2 conditional is used, and in the second part, third conditional is used. So the true situation is that he is so lazy, so he was dropped from the team last weekend. As we can say that if we use the second conditional with the if clause part, we can talk about the hypothetical present. But when we use third conditional in the main part, we can see the past result. So he is so lazy now, so he was dropped from the team last weekend. That's all for now. Thanks for listening.